Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel and welcome back to another video. So tonight's video is going to be a cook with me, a part of the low spend month challenge a couple days ago. So if you're new around here, hey you guys, how y'all doing? My name's Shakema. I'm a single mom. I have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys, 1 fur dog, her name is Gracie, and 1 fur grand dog, his name is Acro. And we do our very best to live a frugal lifestyle around here. We've been on a Dave Ramsey journey for about 9 years. The kids and I have been on our own for about 10 years now. And we're just doing whatever the Lord asks of us to do here at our house. So this month, for the month of January, I'm also on a keto journey. I know I have a couple of new subscribers, quite a few actually. Thank you so much for being with us and hanging out with our family. We're crazy around here, but we love the Lord and we do all kinds of things. So I've been on keto for about 18 months. I don't know if it's quite 18 months, but it's getting close. And I eat a lot of the same things. I'm totally fine eating eggs every day. I am good with eggs. However, I was watching a YouTube video today, and the YouTube video that I found came from the YouTube channel Keto Focus, and she was just doing a meal prep video. I think this was an older video, and she showed 4 or 5 different meals, and I was thinking, hey, I have some of those ingredients. I'm going to make one of her meals. So she made enchiladas. And then yesterday I was watching a video from Dat Keto Lady, and she made a keto lasagna. Now she doesn't do the lasagna like Southern Keto. She doesn't make like the lasagna noodle, kind of fathead doughy noodle thing that you have to let, make it ahead of time. So she does it a little different, and I thought, hey, these are 2 easy meals. And the reason why I thought about it is because for the low spend challenge, one of the days was doing a double batch of something. Now, I can't do all of the challenges on the regular days because I work. So we actually had 2 pounds of turkey and sausage meat that I mixed together. Like I bought some sausage and I had some ground turkey. I mixed them all together and put them in 1 pound packages. We used 1. And so we had 2 pounds left of that mixture. And what I had Alana do was go ahead and brown it. Then we put it into the food processor to make it finer. So I'm going to use half of this meat for the enchiladas and then half of it for the lasagna. So I'm going to do the enchiladas tonight for dinner. It is 7:49. It's late and we do Taekwondo. So the kids and I are just getting home from Taekwondo. I take a class on Thursday nights. The kids take a class Tuesday through Friday night. So we're just getting home. So I've got to get this prepped and cooked quickly. And then I'm going to prep the lasagna for tomorrow night, which is Friday. So I'm getting 2 meals that I just hadn't thought about. It wasn't on my meal plan. And so I'm going to get started. So I've got all the things that I need over here. I'm going to adjust the camera so you guys can kind of see what I got going on. I've got some onions that I had in my pantry. I got that cantina style salsa that I got in the grocery haul. I have cheese, mozzarella cheese. Now I don't have a red sauce because I just have white sauce. The Alfredo sauce is less in carbs. So I have some white sauce, but I have some tomatoes. I'm going to use that. I've got the ricotta cheese. I've got some spinach I'm going to add. And then I'm also going to be putting in 2 pounds of some boneless lean beef bites. This is just a manager's special beef that I'm going to actually brown up in my pan with the onions at the same time. So I'm going to get started chopping my onions and getting them in this pan so that I can bulk out this meal. I'm actually going to use some bacon grease that we had from when we did bacon at Christmas. So I do keep my bacon grease and I use it as I have need of it. So I'm going to rough chop an onion, a couple onions, probably 2. Whoop! Grabbed it, saved by the belly. Yes. I will rinse that onion off because it did almost bite the dust. So I am going to rinse off that one onion, but I'm going to do a couple. This is a pretty big one. May I have a trash can, please? So my kids are getting their showers and things because, of course, we were late getting home. Tomorrow's trash day, so Jackson has to get the trash out. Oven's ready. And so the oven is ready now for the enchiladas to go in. And then, of course, I am going to just make the lasagna for tomorrow. So let me wash that onion real fast. That almost fell, so because I caught it with my belly, I'm gonna just wash it off. So I'm just gonna rough chop this onion. This is 2 onions. One was large and one was small. And I'm just gonna rough chop it. I don't want too big of bites. All right, I got my onions going. So I'm gonna put my meat in. This is just the beef bites. This is just beef that's been chopped up. And I'm just trying to full out the meal. I wish I had some mushrooms, but I don't have any. So that's perfectly fine. And I actually wish I had some zucchini. Some zucchini would really just help to stretch this out a little bit. But I am gonna take some cauliflower and I'm gonna rice some cauliflower. And I'm going to add that into the, for the enchiladas. Just to bulk it out just a little bit. That's what I'm planning to do. So I'm going to get everything all nice and brown. I'm going to season this. So I'm actually going to season this with some salt. Some pepper. I've got some garlic powder. Some onion powder, even though this has onions. A little bit of oregano. Then I've got some taco seasoning. I should have waited to add that after I separated it out, because I'm actually not trying to make taco lasagna, but it'll be fine. And then just some chili seasoning. We add chili seasoning to almost everything we cook. We just like it. And so I'm just going to give this a great, just to brown the meat and caramelize those onions. Then I'm going to divide this out into 2 sections, 2 portions. It's not taking long at all for the meat to brown, because it was chopped into bits anyway, so it's not taking long at all for the meat to brown. And that's a pretty good amount of beef. If all you had was beef, you could still use just this and make the 2 dishes just fine. I mean, you could have steak enchiladas if you wanted to, or you could just use this to make steak tacos. However you wanted to do it, it would be perfectly fine. Whoop. Escape artist. So again, I'm just going to continue to brown this, but I am going to add in now, this is my ground turkey with my ground sausage that we ground up, and then we ground it in the food processor to make it thin, to make it not, you know, sometimes when you brown meat, you get those clumps. So we didn't want the clumps, and I just want to heat that meat through as I'm browning the other meat. As I'm continuing to brown the other meat. Now that was in the fridge, so it's bringing the temperature down, and it's just going to take a minute to come back up to heat, because I do want to make sure that all of the meat is thoroughly cooked through. And then I'm just going to take out half, and I'm going to do all the things that I'm going to do to half of it before I get the enchiladas going. Alright, so I'm going to finish browning this meat, and then I'm going to add in here also some spinach, just again to bulk this out, and then we're also going to add in some rice cauliflower. Alright, you guys, so here's what we have. We have the sausage, turkey, and the beef with the onions and the spinach, but I had about 4 pounds. So I went ahead and took off 2 pounds. I'm going to save 1 pound for radish hash, 1 pound for another meal. I'm not real sure yet what I'm going to make. And then I'm going to take off half of this for the lasagna, and we're getting ready to make the filling for the enchiladas. So I'm taking off half of this. Alright, that's going to be for the lasagna. So here's what I have. I'm going to add in a little bit more spinach to this, because I really need to fill it in. Wish I had bell pepper. I wish I had mushrooms. Zucchini would have filled it in nicely. So any type of scrap, not scrap, but leftover veggies, you could throw into this with no problem. So all I'm doing now is just wilting up the rest of that spinach now that I've separated everything out. And then we're going to just wrap this right on up. This is not going to take very long. And then it's going into the oven. We have the oven set at 350. So I've got this. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I have these Goya packets. These are used for... I use it in rice. And actually, Alana has done the rice cauliflower. So I'm going to add that in. So here's my rice cauliflower. This is just 1 bag. Steamed it first. And then we're just adding it in. So this is a way to get your veggies in. And again, like I said, I had some carrot. I wish I would have ground up some of that. But being keto, I try not to eat. I just try to eat. I eat a lot of cauliflower and a lot of broccoli. So I'm just going to add that in. And then I'm going to add in that Sazon, just to give it a little more flavor. And then I'm going to add to this a couple of tablespoons of this cantina style salsa. Probably enough for about 3/4 of a cup. And I just want to make sure that I mixed around all of that seasoning. Alright, so I've got all that seasoning mixed around. Now this is going to be the filling for my enchiladas. So I'm going to move you over to the island that we made, and we're going to start our assembly line. So Jackson and I are going to move over to the island. All right, now, so I'm going to let Jackson do this job, but I'm just going to show you how we're doing this. So we have the enchilada, the sauce, and we're just going to put a little bit down in the bottom of the dish. I only bought 1 can, so we're just going to have to spread it around. Okay, that's spread good. Now, we're going to use our low-carb wraps. Goodbye, dogs. Be thou removed. So I've got the carb wrap. I'm just going to take some of this filling, and then I'm going to take some of the cheese, and then we're just going to roll this up. And then we're going to sit this into the dish. There's 8 of these, and we're hoping that Jackson will be able to get all 8 of them in there. Okay, so that's your job. Now, Mom's going to shift out. I'm going into the kitchen to start the lasagna filling. Yeah, you want to fill it nicely. Or you can do it here. Look, we can just leave it there and then fill it like that. Spread it this way. Mm-hmm.
You should I do more than that or about that much?
That's good. That's good. And then your cheese. I need tops for those. Oh, it's coming out. Got it? Sorry. Just grab it up. Yeah. All right, now I'm back to the stove with the meat. I am going to cut that off. I'm going to use one of those containers that I had saved because I think just for the lasagna we are going to need a little more. So I've got the meat. I have as much of the meat as I have. Now to this, I'm going to take the white sauce that I had. This is just Ragu butter Parmesan. It was the cheapest or the lowest in carbs that I could find. And I'm just going to add this in. So that's everything there. I'm just going to give that a stir. And again, remember I said we didn't have red sauce, so we're just using white sauce. But I'm going to add in a can of tomatoes, because I know I have some diced tomatoes. I'm just going to add that in. Look how creamy. Looks yummy. I'm going to add in a can of tomatoes, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so I've gotten these. This is chili ready diced tomatoes. It's all we had in the garage, but what I did was I drained off the juice of these tomatoes into the salsa jar. So it doesn't matter if the salsa is a little bit more tomatoey, it's perfect. We're gonna use that probably in some chicken taco soup, but I just wanted to kind of, you know, make a faux red sauce, and I'm just gonna mash up those tomatoes so there's not chunks in there. I could have thrown it into the food processor, but it's already back into the dishwasher, so I'm just going to chunk these up. Just like that. And now you kind of have a lasagna, a red, kind of a blush sauce. It's more of a blush than a red, but it's perfect. And again, we're going to let this cool before we put it in the fridge. It is hot right now. So we're going to let this cool before we put it in the fridge for tomorrow's dinner. So that's our sauce for the base layer of the lasagna. All right, so for the cheesy layer that's going to replace the noodles. And again, I saw this on Dat Keto Lady's channel. This is not my recipe. I'm just using hers. So we're using the whole milk or the full fat ricotta cheese, just one whole container of this. And I am not a ricotta cheese lover, so prayerfully it will all go well. So that whole thing, 2 eggs, and then a 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. So this is the last of what we had. Perfect. That was all that was in there. So some more things for the trash. And then we're just going to stir this all together until well combined. Well combined. All right, now that that's well combined and I have my meat sauce, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my meat sauce, layer it into the bottom of my pan, and I'm not using a large pan because I do kind of want to make this so that's a layer on the bottom with the sauce. And then I'm going to come on top with the cheese. Try to get that all spread around. And then to the top of this, I'm going to add in the mozzarella cheese. And these are mozzarella cheese slices. And Alana does not like mozzarella cheese. So I'm just going to use this for the... She doesn't like it on sandwiches. So I'm just going to use that for the lasagna. I'm going to finish putting this together and we're going to let it cool and it's going in the fridge. Alrighty, everybody, so there it is. The enchiladas are out of the oven. I probably should have cooked it for about 5 minutes less. I did 350 for 30 minutes, probably 20 to 25 minutes would have been perfect. I like my cheese extra done. The kids do not, but that's perfect. Once we lift these out, there's 8, so there's enough for everybody to have 1 for dinner and everybody to have 1 for lunch with 2 left over. So there's possibly enough to have 1.5 plus a lunch, because we're trying to make sure that we have enough lunches. Now we also have the keto lasagna. Remember, this is that Keto Ladies recipe. This is from Keto Focus. And then we had a little bit left of the enchilada mix. So we're going to freeze that. And then we probably think there's enough for 2 or 3 enchiladas during the week. So that will be lovely. And then this was just the rest of that mix before we added anything to it that we're going to add to the radish hash. And I did see Family Food, the channel Family Food. She took some just leftovers that she had, and she added like some chicken stock, put it in the Instant Pot, and just kind of made like a brothy soup. So that might be something that we could do with that as well. But anywho, there it is, 2 meals. So that's for Friday night. This is Thursday night. That will be for Sunday afternoon when we do the radish hash. But I didn't have any of these meals on my list for this week, but happened to be watching some videos, and I said, perfect. This is exact. Just mix it up a little bit. We don't eat enchiladas because I really don't like soft tacos. But once they're cooked, I can eat them perfectly, no problem. So there it is. I hope that this video was helpful to someone. I hope that you got some ideas. We made a meal. We're going to freeze a meal, and we have something else for another meal. So out of everything, this gave us a couple of dinners and some lunch. So there it is, you guys. If you liked the video, thumb it up. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.